This video wasn't meant to be that long in the first place, but now I have to split it into two parts because I got careless and then my other phone died. But basically, I'm not expecting them to be able to change overnight. Obviously, that's unrealistic, right? But the one piece of advice that I think did I even manage to say it in the previous video? Basically, I don't edit my videos, that's why. But basically what I'm trying to say is that instead of like trying to storytell for the sake of it and just like give out information after information after information after information, I feel that they should try to at least rephrase it in a way that they could probably engage people and entice people, encourage people to want to participate in the conversation, as opposed to like just laundry listing everything. Because whatever you say here needs to link to here and needs to link to here as well. In this case, the reason why it doesn't link is because you're telling me about a bus, which I've rephrased here, that is now running around and being kicked out of its perm service. So obviously the change in operator wouldn't even be relevant to these two pieces of information, like the way I rephrased it. And the last part, this part, even without mentioning the operator, if you just put 1 and 2, and even if you don't say this part, even if you omit it out, I would get what you're trying to say and I would be engaged because you're trying to say, oh, it's running around. Being kicked out of its perm service, now it's running around and I wonder what it would do next. That is one way to engage people, as opposed to like, you know, whatever's being written here. And the second thing is that like, be it neurotypical or neurodivergent, I just feel like a lot of Singapore bus enthusiasts are so obsessed and hyperfixated on the rarity of, not bus models per se, but like the rarity of cameos per se. Just, this is something that I never really understood why. If you manage to catch a rare cameo, then okay, good for you. If you don't manage to, then okay, it's not the end of the world. Unless that thing really needs documentation and it's being hidden by people. But anyway, it's like, it's more of like they just want validation from other people that they have caught something rare. And it's not really because, oh, you need to like keep a record of it or anything. No, it's just they just want that kind of like false validation from people, which then leads to them clickbaiting with the rare, the quote-unquote cross-depot cameo, even though it's not even cross-depot in the first place because they're interchangeable, just like BBUP or like KJSL or stuff like that. And something that's actually common, they just clickbait rare. It's like sometimes you just casually walk on the streets and then you just see the bus pop up right in front of you occasionally, but that doesn't mean it's rare. Like, just because you don't see the bus, like just because you don't see a 67 Citaro, you don't see a 961 Citaro, you don't see a 960 Citaro, you don't see a 962 Citaro, or even an OC 500LE, just because you don't see them, that doesn't necessarily mean that they are rare or anything. You just didn't happen to catch them in that sense. And you also have to realize historically, was this a thing? Was it perm? Was it a cameo or what? Or was it like common? It's like they might not be aware of like whatever deployments there might be in the past because of their age maybe. But it's more of like they just don't grasp the concept of like just because they don't see it often doesn't necessarily mean it's not running or it's quote unquote rare. You know, like just because you don't see an OC 500LE on like 67, 960, 961, 962 or even 960E, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's quote unquote rare. Sometimes they might just appear and you really have a lot of window to catch it in the first place. And you might be misled into thinking just because of that, it's quote unquote rare. And this is something that they really have to like get out of their mind, unless they're trying to intentionally clickbait on YouTube for views. Okay, but back to the main point. Essentially, you need to be able to tell what information is needed, what information is not needed, and how do you actually link them and make them relevant. And not just that, how do you engage people, basically? You try to think of it. Because many a times I feel like, even if they want to have a conversation, I feel like the way that they're saying things, it kind of tells me that they're not interested in having a conversation. They just want to tell me stuff and be done with the day. As opposed to like actually trying to engage me. It's just like there is this one other person whom they keep saying things like, oh, POV 2009, POV 1999. It's like they're just commenting for the sake of it. So if it's like a year 1971 to 1989 or something along those lines, they would basically check the history or whatever, and then they take the middle or something along those lines. I don't know how they even come up with all of these, but then wait, it's like 18, right? 18 divided by 2 is like 9. So it's like they would be like, in this context, they would be like, oh, POV 1980, something along those lines. Plus 9, yeah. So if I put there, this service existed from this year to this year, and then they will be like, oh, POV 1980, stuff like that. It's like they're just commenting for the sake of commenting. And sometimes I feel like they cannot help themselves with it. And to be honest, I suspect this might be the same person whom I was at Pongo Coast on the first day of 104, and there was this guy at Pongo Coast. Sometimes he just like acts a little weird. He makes weird noises. He's often on his headphones. And when I alighted from 104, that guy got a little bit creepy. He just started like chasing me around. Not really chasing, but like I was moving in one direction and he tried to corner me, you know, like tried to stalk and corner me. All that just to tell me that like they couldn't even call my name out. Like you can call out my name, you can call out my real name. I've already reviewed my real name so many times. You could say that out instead of like just creeping up to me from behind or from the sides, trying to get close to me without trying to verbally call out me to indicate what you want. No, he just creepily stalks me and tries to corner me. All that just to tell me, oh, service 984 has been introduced. Like, bitch, I know I'm not the most up-to-date person when it comes to like the amendments and everything, but on the day itself, I know you don't have to like creep up to me just to tell me this piece of information that everybody knows. Sorry, I know I'm sidetracking a lot, but it just reminded me of that incident. Okay, so basically what happened was that, like, imagine this is Pongo Coast, right? And then, why is it so small? So basically this was kind of like the area that leads to Northeast Line, and then here is the interchange, and then here are all the Sawtooth berths. So that creepy enthusiast was here, I was here. When I moved in front, he moved in front. When I moved back trying to juke him off because I know that he was like trying to follow me, he made awkward movements like this. So basically he was trying to copy my movements just to corner me. It's like, can't you just call my name instead of like trying to physically corner me just to tell me, oh, 94 is being introduced. Like, I don't get it with these people. It's like, they just, okay, them not being able to communicate properly is one thing, and honestly, they really need to work on this. I don't want them going around creeping out on people like this, even if they happen to have a PWD card or anything, but is that what you call it? Person with disabilities card, you know? At least just call my name. Even if you shout my name, at least it's better than like actually trying to creep up on me, you know? And it's not like they wanted to have a conversation with me or anything. They just creeped up just to tell me this one thing, which is, it's just so weird. Like, and why am I only being targeted? Why don't you go around telling other people? Why is it that I'm the only one being targeted amongst all the enthusiasts that are present at Pongo Coast at that time? Which makes me suspect that the person who is like POV this, POV this, POV this is the exact same person who tried to corner me in Pongo Coast. You know who you are. I don't want to assume, but if you're the guy in headphones and you make a lot of weird noises, I'm sorry, please stop it. It's like, when I see him, I just feel like I have to scram, otherwise this guy is just gonna creepily follow me, that kind of thing. You know, the reason why I'm making all these videos is because, like, it is really, really tiring trying to, like, deal with all of this. And I have just been getting an influx of, like, stupid comments recently, so yeah. Okay, but my main point is basically, the reason why I even responded like this in the first place was because, like, you know, like, as much as I shouldn't say all of this, it's better than not saying it out and keeping it all to myself, letting it bottle up, and I become worse. But, like, I would rather say this to you rather than see you actually getting bullied by other bus enthusiasts. So please, take my advice. I'm trying to help, okay?